Well, Scott Klug has a remarkable career as a journalist and in politics. He served as the Republican representative from Wisconsin's 2nd Congressional District for 8 years.
And now he's taking another career turn as a published author. The Alliance is Scott Klug's first fiction novel, described as a fast-paced thriller. And we're thrilled to welcome Scott back to the Live at 5 studio.
Yeah, nice to see you again. Yeah.
Good to see you.
Usually you're hammering me with political questions,
right.
so this
We'll
will be
get to that. No.
Well, and speaking of that, I think this book will surprise some people because it's not about politics and it's not about journalism.
It isn't. It's sort of the Da Vinci Code meets Indiana Jones. I was a comparative religion minor in college, and I've always been interested in different kinds of religions, and I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was 6, and so I figured a way to throw both of these ideas into a book.
And what sparked it? Why did you decide to do this?
You know, I've actually had 4 or 5 novels, and I think most journalists always have this, someday I'm going to write the great American novel, and they're just not. Look, for those viewers of yours who are interested in serious literature, it's not. And for those of you looking for great romance, it's not. It's just sort of a classic, you know, read popcorn, sit in a hammock on your iPad and work your way through it. And I think people will find it's a fun read.
Well, I'm always fascinated where people draw their inspiration because you're really a world traveler. You've traveled many parts of the world. So where did you go that this finally lit the light bulb?
So I'd like to tell you that there was a great writing studio, but I was actually on a trip with my oldest son going to go golfing. And I said, I have this idea for a book, help me out. And we actually ripped the binding card out of the United Airlines magazine and sort of wrote in circles around on it, and then got back and started to write it. But
really?
An inveterate world traveler, any place I can go. I still do some stuff for the State Department. So I was in Egypt about a month ago, and there's parts of this book set in Sri Lanka I was in years ago. So I just sort of kept little pieces of stuff in the Velcro on my brain, and eventually pieced them all together.
You sent us some interesting pictures.
Yeah.
What do they have to do with the book?
Well, there are elements in it, and I thought it'd be interesting just to sort of share a couple of the snapshots of some of the places that are in the books and people. So let's go to one of the pictures. There we go. So this is actually the dramatic sort of climax of this book is a mountain in Tibet called Mount Kaliash that most people don't know. It's a mountain you can't climb because it's sacred to 4 different religions.
Wow.
And so it's never been ascended. And it actually sort of sits almost like a crystal. There's 4 sides to the face. And I saw this in a National Geographic documentary years ago, and I thought, what a cool place to set a story. So sort of the end of the book, not to give it away, but that's the setting for it.
That's where it ends up?
Yeah.
And there's mastiffs and...
Yeah, there's actually, this is a picture, if we can go to it, of a Tibetan Mastiff.
Well, look at this thing.
Look at the size of that dog, right? And so in the book, there's actually a Tibetan Mastiff who's the bodyguard of the Dalai Lama who plays a role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the dog in the book is actually pure white. So a lot of this sort of ends up getting set in Tibet. And the beginning of the book actually is the murder. The Archbishop of St. Petersburg is murdered at an exhibit of religious relics. And the guy who tries to investigate this starts to get into the world of religious relics. This is actually reputed to be the arm of John the Baptist, which is set in a museum in Istanbul. True story, not making this up. But all these relics get stolen. At the end of the day, only one of them makes sense. But in order to solve it, and this sounds like a bad joke, it's a priest, a rabbi, and a Buddhist monk. They all walk into a bar together. But you sort of have to get folks together of different faiths to figure this riddle out. And like I said, it's a great, fun summer read.
Yeah.
Not going to win the Nobel Prize for fiction, but have fun with it.
Oh, you never know.
And there's no physical book. It's just on...
It's just electronic. That's an interesting thing, I think, for authors these days is, we all grew up in a generation where we love to have that book on an airplane. But if you go on an airplane these days, you'll see people with Kindles and Nooks and iPads much more than you'll see physical books. So may have a little gray hair, but I figure that's the way to go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, so it's on Amazon.com. It's The Alliance by Scott Klug, and download it. I think you'll have fun.
Good to see you again, Scott.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys.